Paperboy Gotta Go Production.
This podcast may speak on subjects that some viewers may find uncomfortable. Some of the topics spoken about in this podcast may not be suitable for children. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Weeds.
Hello.
Welcome to
the Weeds. Fucking party girl summer.
What are we talking about today? Does anyone
Today
remember?
we're talking about the death of, or the murder of Sylvia Likens.
I'm glad
Oh
you remember.
yeah, the Likens.
Yeah, there we go, Likens. Me and Laura were just talking about that. Was like, I hope Liz remembers because I don't remember shit.
I really had to sit there. I had to go through my screenshots because I couldn't fucking remember who the fuck we were supposed to talk about.
Memorable.
This is the first time I forgot who we were talking about.
Honestly, because nobody knows who this bitch is, if we're being honest.
So start us off, Libby.
Okay, so it's Likens, however you want to say it.
Let's just say Likens so we remember her.
Okay. She was a teenager who was tortured and murdered by her caregiver, Gertrude Banaszewski. Banaszewski. I don't fucking know. Gertrude, okay.
Grandma Gertrude out here fucking murdering people.
Murdering and torturing people. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Many of Gertrude's children and several of their neighborhood friends is who she was tortured by. God damn.
Oh
Damn.
my.
Okay. This abuse incriminately lasted for 3 months before Likens died of injuries and malnourishment on October 26, 1965.
Why was Gertrude her caregiver? Does it say that?
Find out, Papa.
Okay. I wasn't sure if it
Like,
went into detail about that or not.
It didn't say that yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
I wasn't sure if it was going to go into details, like if she was disabled. You know what I mean? Or
it probably will.
What?
It usually does. Like, it's got the whole background, dates,
Okay.
the abuse, the escalation,
Let's
etc.
let's fucking do this.
Let's do it. So Likens was
Look, just for our listeners out there, I'm just gonna say this right now. We're gonna be fucking up this name a whole bunch, okay?
we are.
I feel like they know this already.
Anywho, Likens was increasingly neglected, belittled, sexually humiliated.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh, what it feels to chew, what it's like to chew 5 gum.
Listen,
Stimulate
okay, it's gonna be worse today. It's gonna be worse today. I'm hungover. I didn't sleep, so we're just gonna roll with it.
Party girl summer.
Sexually
humiliated,
beaten, starved, lacerated, and dehydrated by her tormentors. Dehydrated, damn. Her
I mean, I guess that would go along with starving, because I mean, if you're not feeding them, I'm sure you're not giving them shit to drink.
Right. Her autopsy showed 150 wounds across her body, including several burns and eroded skin.
Oh.
That's messed up, man.
Right? Her younger sister, Jenny.
The skull.
The what?
I just want to say this: the skull marks is kind of like salt in the wound, like a ultimate F you to your face, because she was dehydrated. So that means they were giving her water, but it was burning hot water to where she couldn't drink it. So that's extra fucked up.
Right. Through intimidation, her younger sister Jenny was occasionally forced to participate in her mistreatment. The official cause of her to be a homicide caused by a combination of subdural hematoma and shock, complicated by severe malnutrition. Gertrude, her oldest daughter, Paula, her son John, and her two neighborhood youths, Coy Hubbard and Richard Hobbs, were all tried and convicted in May 1966 of Likens. At the defendant's deputy, Leroy New described the case as the most diabolical case ever to come before a court or jury. Gertrude's defense attorney, William C. Urbecker, described Likens as having been subjected to acts of degradation that you wouldn't commit on a dog before her death. Well, there was this movie, and it's making me think of this movie. I think it's Girl Next Door or something about that, where like they kept this girl in a basement and they literally tortured her and like abused her and shit. Have you guys ever heard of that?
No.
I've heard of the name. I don't know if I've ever watched it though.
I feel like it's. I could be wrong about it, but there's literally a movie that's almost like this.
It's cool.
Right?
I mean, it's not cool.
I mean, is it cool? Is it?
I was supposed to say it's not cool, but
Why is there always like a John in a story? What's going on with his name?
Was
it's just
No, it's why.
You know,
Why is there a John? Why is there always a John in the story?
because it's all your husband. You just don't know about it.
Right.
but where was John in this story?
You said John in the story.
Oh yeah. Or her son John. Okay.
Yeah. The thing is that your husband's been at all these places and you just have not known about it.
Right.
He was out here. He was
He's
out
actually-
with people in 1960.
Yeah, he's actually
Time
like
traveler.
240 years old. He's actually
Yeah, he's a
240 years
vampire.
old. Yeah, he's a vampire.
Watch out, Edward.
Great.
John is.
I told you that's why you had. I told you that's why he has all the fish. That tells you about every single murder he's done.
He gets a new
Right.
fish every time he kills someone.
Right.
The FBI listening to this, like, oh,
Right. I'm about to get raided. It's fine. It's fine.
Right.
They don't know your address. We haven't said nothing.
After 8 hours of deliberation, the jury found Gertrude guilty of first-degree murder. She was sentenced to life imprisonment, but was released on parole in 1985. Paula was found guilty of second-degree
Wait, she
murder.
was sentenced to life in prison, but she got released on parole.
Yeah,
This bitch still got parole.
yeah.
Damn.
Paula was found guilty. Was released in 1972. Hobbs, Hubbard, and John were found guilty of manslaughter and served less than 2 years in the Indiana Reformatory before being granted parole on February 27th, 1968.
I forgot this was in Indiana. Shout out to my brother-in-law Travis, who's from Indiana. He doesn't have nothing to do with this story, but just shout out to him.
He didn't have anything to do with it. I like how you have to clarify. The torture and murder of Sylvia Likens was widely regarded by Indiana citizens as the worst crime ever committed in their state and has been described by a senior investigator in the Indianapolis Police Department as the most sadistic case he's ever investigated in the 35 years he served with the Indiana, fuck me.
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. I literally just said it fine.
Right.
I know. It's okay.
Anyways, so
We're gonna have a lot of Five Gun moments in this episode. I can tell.
So anyways, that's a little short story of it. Anything you want to discuss before we get into the background?
First off,
Oh,
she should have been
okay.
in prison because her. First off, she should have been in prison because her name was Gertrude. So, if your name's Gertrude, straight to jail. Straight to jail.
You don't even pass
Fuck
go.
you,
You just
Gert.
go straight to jail.
Right.
Fuck that name. No, you don't get $200.
Okay, but who named Gertrude has hurt you?
Right.
Nobody. Just fuck that. Nobody. Just fuck that name Gertrude because it's dumb. It's like being named Prudence. Fuck that name.
I thought he was gonna bring up Bert.
No, Bertha's fine. Bertha's been around
Don't
for a
call
long time.
Bertha. Bertha was my camper.
Right, that's why I was all like,
Was your camper?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I named my
that's what she
camper
named her
Bertha.
I didn't even know you had a camper. So
I did.
it was a
Good on
short-lived adventure.
Yeah, it was. It tried to
well,
kill
good
me.
on you. It tried to kill you. It should just like set itself on fire. Like, what the fuck happened?
No, okay, so like at the end, okay, I like there
At
was
the end.
no rusty nails, okay? There's no nails on the floor. Like my camper was clean as fuck. I was moving a blanket one day and I took a rusty ass nail to the bottom of my flip flop.
Oh, so you almost caught like tetanus and shit.
It was not okay.
That's fucked. Well,
Right. Where did this
rip
nail come
Bertha.
from?
Well, rip Bertha.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
no, I'm not gonna say shit about Bertha. Just fuck Gertrude and fuck Prudence. So if any of our viewers is named Gertrude or Prudence, I'm sorry, but fuck y'all.
Imagine.
I'm
Get
gonna
better names.
laugh. Okay, I'm gonna laugh if that's who he ends up with. Like they don't tell him their first name, but like in the end they find out that that's their first name.
Right.
I'm about to be like,
they
look,
can
we're
still
gonna
buy
have
their
to.
middle name.
I'm just gonna tell him. Look, I found out what your first name is, and we can't do this no more. Sorry.
Like you're literally about to like walk down the aisle to this, or they're about to walk down.
No,
the
Yeah,
aisle.
and be like, you
they're
can't do
saying the
it.
name. They're saying the name at the altar, and he goes, "Oh no, what?"
He's
the
like, oh
fuck?
fuck.
Yeah, no, I said there's a.
What the
It's
fuck?
like, do you
What
take
the
Gertrude,
fuck? Okay, oh sorry, guys.
Gertrude,
Hold on.
Mary,
Laura's dying. Hold on.
and vibe, man?
Anywho.
Okay, so backstory on Grandma
Yes,
Gertrude.
we're gonna go into Gertrude here. So Gertrude, Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh my God, get it together, Lim. Shit, you're fucking me up now. I can't speak.
It's a contagion.
Oh God.
So Gertrude
I'm gonna
Nadine.
have so much at it.
She was born in Indianapolis, Indiana, to Hugh Marcus Van Fossen Sr. Jesus Christ.
Fuck.
See, I
No,
can
it's
say
full of
that
fucked up
just
names.
fine. I said all that
You-
just fine.
Yeah,
Right.
you said
Yeah.
Hugh Masson Boston Senior just fine, but you get Indianapolis.
And okay,
Molly
Myrtle.
Myrtle, the murderer.
right.
That's a
Molly
rather that's a rather regular name for
Molly Myrtle.
what we've had so far. We've had
Right.
Gertrude, Hugh Boston Van Senior,
It's
and
Hugh
now
Marcus
it's
Van
Myrtle.
Fossen Sr.
Hugh what?
Okay.
Hugh Marcus Van Boston Senior. Whatever.
Yeah.
Fucking Zig Heil over here. Okay.
Both of whom were originally from Illinois and were of American and Dutch descent. Gertrude here was the third of 6 children, and her family was working class. Well, good for them.
She was the middle child.
Right.
That's why she's
That's
fucked
why she's
up.
fucked up.
Right.
Yeah.
She didn't get no love.
On October
She was
5th,
born to pick potatoes.
right, on October 5th, 1939, Gertrude saw her 50-year-old father die from a sudden heart attack. 6 years later, she dropped out of high school at age 16 to marry 18-year-old John Stephen, whatever the fuck his last name
Fucking
is.
John.
Right? Who was originally from...
It's such a common name.
Right. I feel like if we keep doing more older stories like this, we're gonna see nothing but Johns, and it's just gonna be a sign.
Well, I mean, like,
Nothing but
there's
Joy.
literally there's literally a serial killer named John Wayne Gacy. Okay,
Exactly.
Yeah, I know.
so I mean,
But we
And
just had John Glover over here.
listen, and John's a Virgo. Like the stars are just lining up for you, baby.
They're not lining up for me. They're lining up for him, apparently. Because
What the fuck did you just say?
I said they're not lining up for me. They're
Oh,
lining
okay.
up for him.
For him to kill you,
Right.
yeah.
you're gonna be
I
his.
just told you. Y'all keep going back to that same lake because he's planning it out.
Right. He's just gonna give you a nice romantic day at the lake and then just off you.
Fucking shove you, just fucking fill your pockets with rocks when you're not looking and shove you in.
Right.
Rip.
I need the insurance.
Anyways, 6 years later, she dropped out of high school at the age of 16 to marry John, who was 18.
So
He
what's
was
John's last name?
Baniswski.
Oh,
Yeah,
the
it's that
hard,
one. Yeah,
the hard name. Got you. You can
Baniswski.
pronounce.
I actually think it's Baniswski, but you know that's just too much.
Well, I mean, you pronounced Marcus or Hugh Marcus Van Hausenberger real easy. I can't remember what the fuck his name is. Real easy, but you can't pronounce her last name.
Baniswski. Anyways, from Youngsville, Pennsylvania ancestry, and with whom she had 4 children. Although John Baniswski had a volatile temper and occasionally beat his wife, just occasionally.
Actually, it's
A
fine.
volatile temper. A
Only
volatile
on
temper. Whenever you
Sundays.
hear that in these, when you
Only
hear
on
that in these
Sundays.
stories, that means he was an abusive husband and probably drank a lot.
Right. The two would remain together for 10 years prior to their first divorce. First, did they get married again?
First, I'm guessing.
Following her divorce, Baniswski married a man named Edward Guthrie.
Wait, so he turned gay?
Her divorce, following her
Oh,
divorce.
her. I was all
Yeah,
like,
I mean, they have the same last name, but it's the girl. It's Gertrude. Gertrude.
I was like, damn.
Gertrude
Right.
married Guthrie, which is kind of my family's on my mom's side's last name is Guthrie. So
Oh, so did I
Oh.
say it right? I said it right. I was just making that up. Oh, cool.
Guthrie.
Yes, sir.
Yep, that's Guthrie.
This marriage lasted just 3 months before the couple divorced.
Damn.
Shortly thereafter, Baniswski remarried her first husband, with whom she had 2 more children. Then the couple divorced in 1963.
So they got remarried 3 times?
So they got married. Then they divorced.
Yeah.
Then she married Guthrie, and then they divorced, and then she married the first guy again, and then they divorced again.
Okay.
So her third divorce. Anyways, weeks after her third divorce, Baniswski began a relationship with a 22-year-old named Dennis Lee Wright, who also physically abused her. Well, shocking. She had 1 child with Wright.
This
Dennis
is like
Lee
in
Wright
the 60s.
Jr.
That was normal.
Right.
This is normal
Dennis
behavior
Lee
in the
Wright
60s.
Jr. Shortly after the birth of their son, Wright abandoned Baniswski. Shortly thereafter, Baniswski filed a paternity suit against Wright for financial support of their child, although Wright seldom contributed to the care of their son. By 65, Baniswski lived alone with her 7 children: Paula, who was 17, Stephanie, who was 15, John, who was 12, Marie, who was 11, Shirley, who was 10, James, who was 8, Dennis Lee Wright Jr., who 5 feet 6 inches in height. God damn, I was skinny.
She's a tiny lady.
Right? Because that's how tall I am, and I could never. And has been described as haggard, underweight, asthmatic. Same.
Not the lady. The kid was that.
No, she weighed only 100 pounds and has been described as a haggard, underweight, asthmatic.
So Gertrude was?
Yes.
Yeah, Gertrude.
Okay, I'm just confused. Gertrude is not the name of a skinny person. Okay.
Well, Gertrude was only 100 pounds, Papa. 5'6".
Ah. Damn.
Chain smokers suffering from depression, same, due to the stress of 3 failed
Same.
marriages, a failed relationship,
Maybe not 3 failed marriages, but same.
and a recent miscarriage. In addition to the sporadic checks she received from her first husband, a former Indianapolis policeman, upon whom she primarily relied financially to support her children, Baniszewski occasionally performed odd jobs for neighbors and acquaintances, such as sewing or cleaning, in order to earn money. Baniszewski resided in Indianapolis at 3850 East New York Street. God damn, just
I like
about
how
her whole
they put
fucking
the address.
address.
Right.
Damn.
Where the monthly
Dox
rent
it, this
was
lady.
$55. God damn, I wish I could go back to the 60s. A month, the rent was only $55.
No, you don't. You don't wish you could go back to the 60s.
$55 about the rent.
Yeah, but you wouldn't get that much. You know that, right?
True. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But right.
You make
Okay,
like you make like
be making $22 an hour and paying $55 rent. Thank you. But
we would
anyway.
all like that. But
Right.
it's not gonna happen.
So now we're moving into Sylvia Likens. Sylvia Marie
I thought her
Likens.
name was Lisa.
Huh?
I thought her name was Lisa.
No, Sylvia.
Where the fuck did I get Lisa from?
Right. I was like,
Where did I get Lisa from?
I feel like somebody we talked about was Lisa at some point, one of the stories, but not today, Papa.
Maybe. Okay, maybe. I'm sorry.
Sylvia
I'm fucked up
Likens
today.
Sylvia Marie Likens was born on January 3rd, 1949, died October 26, 1965, was the third of 5 children born to carnival workers Lester Cecile Likens and his wife, Elizabeth Betty Francis. She was born between 2 sets of fraternal twins, Danielle and Diana, who are 2 years older than her, and Benny and Jenny, who are 1 year younger.
Benny and Jenny.
Right.
Benny and Jenny.
Jenny
You can make good ice cream names out of that.
Damn. Jenny Likens suffered from polio, causing one of her legs to be weaker than the other. She was afflicted with a notable limp and had to wear a steel brace on one leg. That was Jenny, not Sylvia. Jenny, by the way. So we all know.
Jenny.
Jenny.
The sister, the little sister.
Oh, Jenny, I love you, Jenny.
I knew that was coming.
Right. Lester and Elizabeth's marriage was unstable. They often sold candy, beer, and soda at carnival stands around Indiana throughout the summer, moving frequently and regularly, experiencing severe financial difficulties.
Well, yeah, if you're working as carnies, then yeah, you're not gonna have good financial backing. Nobody in history has ever been like, I made a killing being a carny. No. That's like a job you get when you're addicted to drugs and alcohol.
Right. The Likens sons regularly traveled with them in order to assist with their job, but Sylvia and Jenny were discouraged from doing the same out of concern for their safety and education. So the boys can be fucking stupid, but the girls gotta be smart. As frequently stayed with their relatives, often their grandmother. In their teenage
was it Gertrude?
I don't know. We're about to find out. In her teenage years, Sylvia Likens occasionally earned spending money by babysitting, running errands, or performing ironing chores for her friends and neighbors, often giving her mother part of the earnings. She has been described as a friendly, confident, and lively girl with long, wavy, light brown hair extending below her shoulders, and was known as Cookie to her friends.
Cookie.
Right. Although okay, this was a child.
What? Oh, she's a child? Never mind.
I mean, I don't know. What is 65 minus 49?
What? Why are you gonna ask me to do math for?
Right, why are you doing math?
You're the one that has the supreme IQ over here.
Superior, Papa.
Superior. Whatever. Miss, I can't read Indianapolis.
Right.
That's what I said, Miss, I can't read Indianapolis, but I have a superior IQ.
Listen. It's because I type faster than my mouth goes, okay? Although exuberant, Likens always kept her mouth
we just gonna skip over the age?
Oh, were we supposed to do that?
You asked me.
I did
Hang
ask
on.
you. 65, 65.
65 minus 49.
She was
She was
16. Yeah, that was
16.
a child. That was a child.
Well, back then it wasn't considered a child. Back then they were marrying people off at like 12.
Although exuberant, Likens always kept her mouth closed when smiling due to a missing front tooth, which she had lost while roughhousing with one of her brothers during a childhood game. She was also fond of music, particularly the Beatles, and was notably protective of her markedly more timid and insecure younger sister. On several occasions, the two sisters would visit the local skating rink, where Sylvia would help Jenny skate by holding her hand while Jenny skated on her unaffected foot. Okay, why was all that?
I was about to say I was about to say she's helping the sister that has the gimp leg. Okay, I was confused.
Right. So July 1965. By June 1965, Sylvia and Jenny Likens resided with their parents in Indianapolis. On July 3rd, their mother was arrested and subsequently jailed for shoplifting. Shortly thereafter, Lester Likens arranged for his daughters to board with Gertrude Baniszewski, the mother of two girls with whom the sisters had recently become acquainted with while studying at Arsenal Technical High School. Paula and Stephanie.
Arsenal Technical High School. What a fucking name.
Right. So their daughter, so Jenny and Sylvia were friends with Paula and Stephanie.
Okay.
Gertrude's children.
Worst mistake of the life.
Right.
Yeah. Which, okay, I'm just gonna put this out there. The Likens family is living a literal vagabond lifestyle. So I don't think they really cared.
Truly.
They were carnies, most likely drinking a lot, because I don't know if meth was a thing back then. I don't know. Might have been. So they were literally living a vagabond lifestyle, and they probably didn't give a shit about their kids that much.
Just work of the year, Vagabond.
Yeah. I'm not the one that said I wanted to be a vagabond, Libby.
Listen.
She said I want to be a vagabond. See, you become a vagabond, then you end up getting tortured by Grandma Gertrude.
Or Mama Gertrude. It's not Grandma, it's Mama.
I'm going to say Grandma because Gertrude is a grandma name.
Well, you about to find out. At the time of this boarding agreement, Gertrude assured Lester she would care for his daughters until his return, as if they were her own children.
Damn.
So that was a fucking lie.
Right? Shortly after the 4th of July holiday, the sisters moved into 3850 East New York Street.
Oh my God.
In order for their father and later their mother to travel to the East Coast with the carnival, with the understanding that Gertrude would receive a weekly boarding fee of $20 to care for their daughters until they returned to collect that year. Well, poor fucking Sylvia didn't fucking make it till November. She died in October. During the initial
just 1 month away. You were survived 1 month longer, Sylvia.
Held out. During the initial weeks in which Sylvia and Jenny resided at the Baniszewski household, the sisters were subjected to very little discipline or abuse. Likens regularly sang along to pop records with Stephanie. And she willingly participated in the housework at the Baniszewski residence. Both girls also regularly attended Sunday school with the Baniszewski children, with the pastor commending Sylvia's piety. Whatever that word means.
Piety, it's like her willingness to learn and how quick she was like picking up on stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm not Webster. I just know a lot of words.
Like a dictionary. Abuse.
Yeah, dictionary.
So we're moving on to the abuse. Finally, we're getting to the juicy stuff. Although Lester Likens had agreed to pay Gertrude $20 a week in exchange for the care of his daughters. After approximately 2 weeks, these payments failed to consistently arrive upon the prearranged dates. Occasionally
Again, because they're vagabonds. They're fucking alcohol addicted carnies.
Those fucking damn vagabonds. Anyways, these payments failed to arrive, occasionally arriving 1 or 2. But Gertrude began venting her frustration at this fact upon the sisters by beating their bare buttocks with various instruments, such as a 1/4 inch thick paddle, making statements such as, "Well, I took care of you two little bitches for a week for nothing."
God.
Right. On one occasion in late August, both girls were beaten approximately 15 times on the back with the aforementioned paddle after Paula had accused the sisters of eating too much food at the church supper that they all had attended. By mid-August, Gertrude had begun to focus her abuse almost exclusively upon Sylvia, with likely being jealousy of her physical appearance, respectability, and potential in life. Subsequent trial testimony, this abuse was initially inflicted upon Sylvia after she and Jenny had returned to the Baniszewski residence from Arsenal Technical High School, as well as on weekends. This initial abuse included subjecting Likens to beatings and starvation, forcing her to eat leftovers or spoiled food out of the garbage cans. On one occasion, Likens was accused of stealing candy that she had actually purchased. On another occasion, in late August, Likens was subjected to humiliation when she claimed to have had a boyfriend in Long Beach, whom she had met in the spring of '65 when her family lived in California. In response to hearing this, Gertrude asked if she had ever done anything with a boy, to which Likens, unsure of her meaning, replied, "I guess so," and explained that she had gone skating with the boys there and had once gone to the park on the beach.
I guess we went to the park and swang on the swings.
Like, yeah, we went and did stuff. What do you mean? Continuing the conversation with Stephanie.
You're a whore. No. My bad.
Continuing the conversation with Stephanie and Jenny, Likens mentioned that she once had laid under the covers with her boyfriend. Oh. Upon hearing this, Gertrude asked, "What did you do? Why did you do that, Sylvia?" Likens replied, "I don't know," and shrugged. Several days later, Gertrude returned to the subject with Likens, telling her, You're certainly getting big in the stomach, Sylvia. It looks like you're going to have a baby." Likens thought Gertrude was kidding with her and said, "Yeah, it sure is getting big. I'm just going to have to go on a diet." However, Gertrude then informed her and the other girls in the house that whenever they did something with a boy, they would be sure to have a baby. She then kicked Likens in the genitals. Paula herself, 3 months pregnant, and also jealous of Likens' physical appearance, then participated in attacking Likens, knocking her off her chair and onto the kitchen floor, shouting, "You ain't fit to sit in a chair."
Question though.
Excuse you?
Question.
Yes.
Question. Paula is Gertrude's daughter, right?
Yep.
Yes.
How old is Paula at this point, and why is she pregnant?
So let me scroll back up to Gertrude's life over here. Paula was 17.
Oh. Okay, so she's probably married or getting married.
But I mean, Sylvia was only 16. What do you mean?
No, I was just confused. I mean, like it is being hypocritical of them to be like, oh, Sylvia's pregnant and she's blah blah blah, but Paula's over here pregnant too, girl.
But see, I mean, Paula was only 3 months pregnant at the time. So did her mother even know?
Probably. They seem like hypocritical people.
I mean, probably. But
I just like the fact that she scared the fuck out of these girls now, and they're gonna be like, if the girls would have survived, they'd be like, I can't swing at the park with this guy, or I'm gonna get pregnant.
Right.
What?
Anyways, on another occasion, as the family ate supper, Gertrude, Paula, and a neighborhood boy named Randy Gordon Lepper force-fed Likens a hot dog overloaded with condiments, including mustard, ketchup, and spices. Likens vomited as
a hot dog.
Oh, no, Likens vomited as a result and was later agitated. Right.
That's not cool, man. That's not very party rock, bro.
It was not very party rock. Did she throw up again? Did she have to eat her regurgitated regurgitation?
I don't want to. I just go continue. I don't want to talk about that. That is there are a few things in this life that bother me a lot, and people being force fed to eat their own vomit is one of them. And that is horrible.
Right. And what was Likens' only act of retaliation? She is alleged to have spread a rumor at Arsenal Technical High School that Stephanie and Paula Baniszewski were prostitutes. She supposedly did this because she was upset with the household singling her out for similar accusations. Which, okay, she's like, y'all are a bunch of fucking hypocrites, which, I mean, rightfully so.
You're a bunch of fucking whores.
Right. While at school, Stephanie was jokingly propositioned by a boy who told her,
Stephanie.
You said Stephanie.
Did I?
Oh, I heard Stephanie.
Yes.
I
No, she said Stephanie.
I said Stephanie was jokingly. Maybe it blurred together.
Yeah, that's probably what happened. But I was like, I heard Stephanie, and I was like, wait, what?
Anyway,
she's
so
just getting.
school,
She's just bringing up Lisa from earlier that I thought about maybe,
right?
and just forming it together.
Right. Well, at school, Stephanie was jokingly propositioned by a boy who told her that Likens had started this rumor about her. Upon returning home that day, Stephanie questioned Likens about the rumor, and she admitted to starting it. See, you should have held your ground, bitch. You should have been like, "Was not me.
I wasn't me. I don't know what you're talking about."
Stephanie punched her in response, but Likens apologized to her in tears, and Stephanie then also began to cry. However, when Stephanie's boyfriend, 15-year-old Coy Randolph Hubbard, heard of the rumor, he brutally attacked Likens, slapping her, banging her head against the wall, and flipping her backwards onto the floor. When Gertrude found out, right? But when Gertrude found out after she got her ass beat, she then used a paddle to beat Likens' ass, literally.
Man, this poor girl. See, this is what happens, kids, when your family isn't stable and you decide to be carnies, then your kids get abused.
That's why the kids are getting abused.
Right.
Well, if the parents would have been financially stable and not carnies and not stealing food, then their kids wouldn't have been put in this situation.
Then someone else's kids would have been put in this situation.
Maybe not.
Maybe everything happens for a reason.
Just saying. Don't be carnies. Don't be vagabonds.
Right.
It always happens. Something always bad happens. Either your kids get abused, you die on a bus, or you die on a trail because your knees are bad. One of the three things.
Well, my knees are already bad, so.
See, so you can't be a vagabond, okay?
Or she could. What if she wants
What
to
if I
die?
get a knee brace?
No, because then you're gonna end up like that dude named Denham, which is a whole different story.
Oh well, we're not gonna go into him.
Right.
No, that's a whole different story. It's a whole different story.
On another occasion, Paula beat Likens about the face with such force.
About the face.
It literally says about it. Did they?
I don't know why they ever. I don't know why people use that term. No, that's a term people use when they say about something.
Really?
It literally means like in the area of. So like it could have been on her neck, her cheek, her forehead. So
okay.
it's about the face. But it just it sounds stupid. It sounds stupid in the sentence.
Because I'm like, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah,
Anyways.
it sounds stupid, but it's a term people use. Yes.
Thank you, Webster. On another occasion, Paula beat Likens about the face with such force that she broke her own wrist, having primarily focused her blows upon Likens' teeth and eyes.
Was she pregnant this time?
Likens?
No, Paula. Didn't you say Paula?
Oh, yeah, Paula. I mean, Paula was pregnant, 3 months pregnant.
Hey guys, what if this Paula turned out? What if this Paula turned out to be Paula Dean? Like she changed her last name and stuff.
Right. Well, if it was Paula Dean, then I mean, she should have been beating this girl with sticks of butter, so there was no bruises.
Well, see, the thing is that Paula, if it was Paula Dean, she got hers later on in the end, anyways, because she said the N word.
Right.
She was racist in the Food Network, which, in Paula Dean's defense, okay, it's not right that she was racist.
Yeah, why are we talking about Paula?
I was just saying, in Paula Dean's defense, it's not right that she was racist, but also, the lady's like 85. So what did you think that she thought? Like, that's how she was raised to be, Okay, she was
Well,
raised
we
in an era
can't-
where that was
You
okay.
can change. You don't have to be.
Yeah,
you
we
know.
can't. Really, we're not going to get canceled for that because you can't really defend that. I mean, you're even though
No,
you're
you
old,
can change. You can change.
Old, you can
You
still
can,
understand.
yeah, no, you can change, but they're gonna be old and they're gonna understand. But then if you ask their opinion, they're gonna tell you the truthful opinion because that's what old people do.
Listen, if I can teach a 13-year-old dog to sit, spin, roll over, then these old people can learn not to say the N word with the heart.
That is a dog. That is a dog.
No,
And honestly, though, I don't even know
thing.
if she actually said. I don't even. Honestly, I don't even know if she actually said the N word. I think it was something else. I think like they had
I don't
planned
even-
out like it's something like
Anyways,
they had
this
planned
isn't-
out a
we're
wedding.
not looking it up.
Whatever.
Okay, I don't
Whatever.
want to this all out. So shut up.
Whatever. Anyways, go on about Paula Dean beating her. Let's go.
Anyways, later Paula used the cast on her wrist to further beat Likens.
Ain't that some shit? I hurt myself because of you. Now I'm gonna beat you with the cast. Fuck.
Gertrude repeatedly falsely accused Likens of promiscuity.
Promiscuity.
Oh my God.
Promiscuity. I can't remember how to say it now. It's meaning promiscuous. Promiscuous nature.
Promiscuity and engaging in prostitution, ranting about filthiness of prostitution and women in general. Gertrude would later occasionally force Jenny to strike her own sister, beating Jenny if she didn't comply. Coy Hubbard,
That one hurts me even more though.
right?
Because Jenny already got a fucked up leg, and now you're just gonna beat her more. That's fucked up, man.
Well,
like,
not only
leave
that, you're
Jenny
beating
alone.
her because she won't beat her own sister. So you're all like, damn, I gotta beat the fuck out of my sister, or I'm gonna get my ass beat. Like,
Yeah, but
trauma.
I mean, that makes me even. I mean, I'm sad for Sylvia because she ended up passing away. But like the fact that Jenny's having to go through this and she's already got a bum leg, like, come on now, that's just fucked. You know,
Right.
Anyway, that's like double damage, bro.
Double damage. Coy Hubbard and several of his classmates frequently visit the Baniszewski residence to both physically and verbally torment Likens, often collaborating with Baniszewski's children and Gertrude herself.
See, these dudes ain't even fucking part of the family. They're just showing up because like this is fun.
Right.
We get to go over here and beat up people. I know, that's fucked up.
With Gertrude's active encouragement, these neighborhood children routinely beat Likens, sometimes using her as a practice dummy in violent judo sessions, lacerating part of her body.
Judo sessions? The fuck are we at? Feudal Japan? Why the fuck are they doing judo?
Lacerating her body, burning her skin with lit cigarettes in excess of 100 times, and severely injuring her genitals. To entertain Gertrude and her teenage accomplices, Likens was forced at one point to strip naked in the family living room and masturbate with a glass Pepsi Cola bottle in their presence, with Gertrude stating to all present that this is an act of humiliation and was for Sylvia to prove to Jenny what kind of girl you are.
What the fuck?
Right?
A Coca-Cola bottle?
Yes, Pepsi Cola.
Well, same shit. What the fuck?
It full?
It was with a glass Pepsi Cola bottle. They didn't say empty, full. Just a glass bottle.
Bro. What?
Right.
Sorry, that shocked me. That's the first time I've ever actually been shocked in one of these stories. God. That's fucked, dude.
Please.
That's fucked, bro.
In front of everybody, the whole club was all here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Including her sister. Including Jenny.
Jenny. Sorry about your leg, Jenny.
Anyways, Gertrude eventually forbade Likens from attending school after she confessed to have stolen a jumpsuit from the school due to Gertrude refusing to purchase clothing for her. For this act of theft, Gertrude whipped Likens with a...
She stole what from the school?
A gym suit.
So, gym suit. Okay, I thought For some reason, my mind said that you said agents, and I was like, "What did she? What? She stole agents from the school to dress." I was like, "What?" Okay, my
Agents
bad.
or Asians?
Continue. No,
Asians.
agents. She took a bunch of Asian people, wrapped them around her
Right.
body.
Right. So for this act of theft, Gertrude whipped Likens with a 3-inch wide police belt. Gertrude then switched her conversation to the evils of premarital sex before repeatedly kicking Likens in the genitals as Stephanie railed.
Wow, so much with the
Rally.
genitals, man.
Right?
There's so much with the genitals in this fucking story. Like every time you turn around, they're like punching this chick in the fucking clam. Like, God dang.
In the clam.
Well, that's true.
Stephanie then rallied to Likens' defense, shouting she didn't do anything. Gertrude then burned Likens' fingertips with matches before further whipping her. A few days later, Gertrude repeatedly whipped Jenny with the police belt after she reportedly stole a single tennis shoe from the school to wear on her strong foot.
On her strong foot. Take my strong hand, child.
So we're going into the turmoil. God damn, Papa.
Oh, this ain't the turmoil? This is just the fucking start?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
The Likens siblings.
Siblings.
The Licken siblings were fearful of notifying either family members or adults at their school of the increasing incidents of abuse and neglect they were enduring, as both were afraid that doing so would only worsen their situation, as per usual. Jenny, in particular, struggled against the urge to notify family members, and she had been threatened by Gertrude that she would herself be abused and tortured to the same degree as her sister if she did so. Jenny was also subjected to bullying by girls in her neighborhood, in addition to occasionally being ridiculed or beaten whenever she alluded to Sylvia's situation. In July and August, both Lester and Elizabeth Likens would occasionally return to Indianapolis to visit their daughters, whenever their travel schedule afforded them the opportunity. The last occasion Lester and Elizabeth visited their daughters was on October 5th. And you didn't notice something was wrong with this girl on October 5th?
Right. Didn't she die?
She died on the 26th.
Oh.
You didn't know anything wrong?
Yeah. Did they not see her? Well, I mean, like I said,
vagabonds, man.
They were probably drunk. I guarantee you the parents were drunk. Being carnies, especially back then, being carnies, you were drunk all the time.
All the time. So the last time they visited their daughters was on October 5th. On this occasion, neither girl exhibited any visible sign of distress about their mistreatment to their parents. This was likely because both were in the presence of Gertrude and her children. Almost immediately after Lester and Elizabeth had left, on their final visit, Gertrude turned down to face Likens and said, "What are you going to do now, Sylvia? Now they're gone." On one occasion in September, the girls encountered their older sister, Diana Shoemaker, at a local park. Both Jenny and Sylvia informed Diana about their abuse they were enduring and at the hands of their caregiver, aiding that Sylvia was being specifically targeted for physical abuse and almost always for things she had neither said nor done. Neither sister mentioned the actual address where they resided, and initially, Diana believed her sisters must be exaggerating their claims regarding the scope of their mistreatment.
God dang it, Diana.
Right? Several weeks prior to this, Sylvia and Jenny had encountered Diana in the same park while in the company of 11-year-old Marie Baniszewski, and Sylvia had been given a sandwich to eat when she mentioned to her sister that she was hungry. Likens remained silent about the matter, although Marie revealed this fact to her family in late September. In response, Gertrude accused Likens of engaging in gluttony before she and Paula choked and bludgeoned her. The pair then subjected Likens to a scalding bath in order.
It's fine. You can say stuff like that all the time. It's just your secret. It's just your secret texting coming out in you. It's fine.
Just slipping out. In order to cleanse her of her sin, Gertrude grabbing Likens' hair and repeatedly banging her head against the bath to revive her when she fainted.
That doesn't seem like a proper way to revive somebody.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Shortly
doesn't seem like a proper way.
The father of a neighborhood boy named Michael John Monroe phoned Arsenal Technical High School to anonymously report that a girl with open sores across her entire body was living at the Baniszewski household, and Likens had not attended school. Visited East New York Street to investigate these claims. Gertrude claimed to the nurse that Likens had run away from her home the previous week and that she was unaware of her actual whereabouts, adding that Likens was out of control and that her open sores were a result of Likens' refusal to maintain decent personal hygiene. Gertrude further claimed that Likens was a bad influence on both her own children and her sister. The school made no further investigations concerning Likens' welfare.
What the fuck? Like, oh, she just ran away. I was supposed to be watching this girl, and she just ran away from home.
Right.
And you just didn't give a shit back then? Well, I mean, back then I just didn't give a shit, I guess. But still, that's like...
Okay, so this dude reported this bitch having open sores all over her body, right?
How did he know?
Well, if this dude was able to see, how the fuck her parents didn't see?
Because I'm telling you, they were drunk.
Anyways, fucking vagabonds.
Yes.
The immediate neighbors of the Baniszewski family were a middle-aged couple named Raymond and Phyllis Vermillion. Both initially viewed Gertrude as an ideal caregiver for the Likens sisters, and both had visited the Baniszewski while their girls had been under Gertrude's care. On both occasions, however, the Vermillions witnessed Paula physically abusing Likens, who on both occasions had a black eye, and openly boasting her treatment of the child to them. Upon their second visit, the Baniszewski household both observed Likens to appear extremely meek and somewhat zombified in nature. Nevertheless, the Vermillions never reported Likens' evident mistreatment to the authorities. On or about October 1st, Diana Shoemaker discovered that her sisters were temporarily residing at the Baniszewski residence. She visited the property in an attempt to initiate regular contact. Gertrude, however, refused Diana entrance to her property, stating that she had received permission from their parents not to allow either of the girls to see her. She then ordered Diana off of her property. Approximately 2 weeks later, Diana encountered Jenny by chance close to the home and inquired as to Sylvia's welfare. She was informed, "I can't tell you or I'll get in trouble." On to the escalation.
This ain't even the escalation?
Nope.
The fuck? How much worse can it get?
Oh,
Except the fact that she died.
This is
only about the fact that she dies.
This is October 1st. We're moving on to like October 6th now. Due to increase in frequency and brutality of the torture and mistreatment Likens was subjected to, she gradually became incontinent. She was denied any access to the bathroom, being forced to wet herself. As form of punishment for her incontinence, on October 6th, Gertrude threw Likens into the basement and tied her up. Here, Likens was often kept naked, rarely fed, and frequently deprived of water. Occasionally, she was tied to the railing of the basement stairs with her feet barely touching the ground. In the weeks prior to locking Likens in the family basement, Gertrude had increasingly abused and tormented Likens. She would occasionally falsely claim to the children in her household that either she herself or one of them had been receiving direct insults from Likens in the hope that this would provoke them into belittling or attacking her. On one occasion, Gertrude held a knife aloft and challenged Likens to fight me back, to which Likens replied she did not know how to fight. In response, Gertrude inflicted a slight scour wound to Likens' leg. Physical and mental torment such as this would occasionally pause when the Baniszewskis watched their favorite television shows. Neighborhood children were also occasionally charged to see the display and to humiliate, beat, scald, burn, and ultimately mutilate her. Throughout Likens' captivity in the basement, Gertrude frequently, with the assistance of her children and neighborhood children, restrained and gagged Likens before placing her in a bathtub filled with scalding water and then proceeding to rub salt in her wounds. Right?
Fuck.
On one occasion, Gertrude and her 12-year-old son, John Jr., rubbed urine and feces from Gertrude's 1-year-old son's diaper.
Fishy.
1-year-old's diaper into Lincoln's mouth before giving her a cup of half filled with water, and started stating the water was all she was received for the remainder of the day. So you get shit and piss rubbed in your mouth, and then you only get a half a cup of water to last you for the whole day. Right. On October 22nd, John Beniszewski Jr. tormented Likens by offering to allow her to eat a bowl of soup with her fingers and then quickly taking away the bowl when Likens, by this stage suffering from extreme malnourishment, attempted to eat the food. Gertrude Beniszewski, Jesus Christ, eventually allowed Likens to sleep upstairs on the condition that she learned not to wet herself. That night, Sylvia whispered to Jenny to secretly give her a glass of water before falling asleep.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
God,
the following
bro.
morning, Gertrude discovered
I'm not picking cases anymore, okay, guys?
Right? Like, goddamn, Clint, you picked the worst one.
Shit.
The
I
following
just picked a
morning,
random number.
Gertrude, number 16 was not it. Gertrude discovered that Likens had urinated on himself. As a punishment, Likens was first forced to insert an empty glass Coca-Cola bottle, this time it's Coca-Cola, just for you, into her vagina.
Brand endorsement.
Into her vagina in the presence of the Beniszewski's children before Gertrude ordered her into the basement.
Hello?
Sorry, I was reading something. Shortly thereafter, Gertrude shouted for Likens to return to the kitchen, then ordered her to strip naked before proclaiming to her, "You have branded my daughters, now I'm going to brand you." She began carving the words, "I'm a prostitute and proud of it," onto Lincoln's abdomen with a heat.
Bro!
Right.
Fuck!
When Gertrude was unable to finish the branding, she instructed one of the neighborhood children present, 14-year-old Richard Dean Hobbs, to finish etching the words into Lincoln Jenny to a nearby grocery store. And what Hobbs would later insist were short, light etchings. He continued to brand the text into Lincoln's abdomen as she clenched her teeth and moaned. Both Hobbs and 10-year-old Shirley Beniszewski then led Likens to the basement, where each proceeded to use an anchor bolt in an attempt to burn the letter S beneath Lincoln's left breast, although they applied one section of the loop backwards, and this deep burn scar would resemble the number 3. Gertrude later then taunted Likens by claiming she would never be able to marry due to the words carved on her stomach, stating, "Sylvia, what are you going to do now? You can't get married now. What are you going to do?" Weeping
She wasn't
Likens,
gonna get married anyways because you fucking killed her. Sorry.
Right.
I'm extremely bothered by all this.
Right. Weeping, she replied, "I guess there's nothing I can do." Later that day, Likens was forced to display the carving to the neighborhood children, with Gertrude claiming she had received the inscription at a sex party.
This is my question, though. There's all these kids that are like paying nickels and shit to do this stuff.
Why has nobody told their fucking parents?
Yeah, why isn't it? How do the parents not know?
All raising a bunch of little sick fucks.
I want to know where they are now.
Is this fucking neighborhood just full of serial killers? What the fuck is going on?
Like, how is any of these kids just like, damn, this is some fun shit? Like, I would be so.
I know, like no. Someone's like, "You want to bet if you pay me a nickel, I'll let you beat this girl." Fuck is wrong with you, dude? No.
I'd be all like, no.
I want to know where they are now. Like, what are they doing now?
Right.
Probably all arrested. I don't know.
Nobody got arrested except for the 2 boys. Everybody that paid to see it, nothing happened to them.
Fuck, dude.
That night.
Like, I mean, I guess if people are just paying to see it, it's not any different than like
freak
shows.
That's
but I mean, it's like
seeing it. They're also helping.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you're just paying to see it, I guess it's not any different than like a freak show. But still, like, this is fucked, dude. I'm sorry, guys.
Right. Around 6:30. Okay. So Sylvia, that night, Sylvia confided to her sister, "Jenny, I know you don't want me to die, but I'm going to die. I can tell it." Damn, just imagine knowing you're going to die.
Shit. She probably wanted to die by this point.
Honestly. And
Fuck.
that was literally just a few days before she died. The following day, Gertrude Baniszewski woke Likens, then forced her to write a letter as she dictated the contents, which were intended to mislead her parents into believing their daughter had run away from the Baniszewski residence. The content of this letter was intended to frame a group of intensively abusing and mutilating Likens after she initially agreed to engage in sexual relations with them before they inflicted the extreme abuse and torture upon her body. After Likens had written this letter, Gertrude finished formulating her plan to have John and Jenny blindfold Sylvia, then take her to a nearby wooded area known as Jimmy's Forest and leave her there to die. After she had finished writing the letter, Likens was then again tied to the stair railing and offered crackers to eat, although she refused them, saying, "Give it to the dog, I don't want it." In response, Gertrude forced the crackers into Likens' mouth before she and John beat her, particularly around the stomach. On October 25th and 26th, the last days of life. On October 25th, Likens attempted to escape from the basement after overhearing a conversation between Gertrude and John Jr. pertaining to the family's plan to abandon her to die. She attempted to flee out the front door, however, due to her extensive injuries and general weakness, Gertrude caught her before she could escape the property. Likens was then given crackers to eat, but was unable to consume the food due to her extreme state of dehydration. Gertrude forced the crackers into her mouth before repeatedly striking her in the face with a curtain rod until sections of the instrument were bent into right angles.
Damn.
Motherfucker.
But, I mean, if we're being honest here, curtain rods aren't really that stable, so.
No, but I mean, just.
But still.
Fuck. You know?
Right. Coy Hubbard then took the curtain rod from Gertrude and struck Likens one further time, rendering her unconscious. Gertrude then dragged Likens into the basement. That evening, Likens desperately attempted to alert neighbors by screaming for help and hitting the walls of the basement with a spade. One immediate neighbor of the Baniszewskis would later inform police she had heard the desperate commotion and that she had to identify the source as emanating from the basement of 3850 East New York Street. But as the noise had suddenly ceased at approximately 3 a.m., she decided not to inform the police about the disturbance. By the morning of October 26th, Likens was unable to either speak intelligibly or correctly coordinate the movement of her limbs. Gertrude moved Likens into the kitchen and, having propped her back against the wall, attempted to feed her a donut and a glass of milk. She threw Likens to the floor in frustration when Likens was unable to correctly move the glass of milk to her lips. She was then returned to the basement. Shortly thereafter, Likens became delirious, repeatedly moaning and mumbling. When Paula asked her to recite the English alphabet, Likens was unable to recite anything beyond the first 4 letters or to raise herself off the ground.
Now they're freaking out.
Right. In response, Paula verbally threatened her to either stand up or she would inflict a long jump on her. Gertrude
Jump?
Yes.
What? What the fuck does she mean by a long jump?
We're going to open that in a new tab and find out.
I don't understand.
A track and field event in which athletes combine speed, strength, and agility in an attempt to leap as far as possible.
I know that, but like, how was she gonna do that to her? Like, what the fuck are they gonna do?
Is she pregnant?
Trying to jump on her is what she's gonna do, is what she said.
Oh, okay.
Is she pregnant? Like, is she still pregnant?
Yes, Paula is still pregnant at this time. They only lived with her this bitch for a couple months before she died.
Yeah. This just the fact that someone's like, if you don't wake up, I'm gonna do a long jump on you. Like,
like goddamn.
What kind of fucking threat is that, dude?
Gertrude.
Yeah, they're tripping out. This is, and I will say that in all of the stories about severe abuse and then someone ending up dying, it pisses me off how much at the end, right before the person dies, everybody starts freaking out. Don't start freaking out now. No. You didn't give a fuck about it when you were doing it the whole damn time, but now you scared? No.
Now they're like, oh shit. We're like, okay. Gertrude then ordered Likens, who had defecated, to clean herself up. That afternoon, several of Likens' other tormentors gathered in the basement. Likens jerkingly moved her arms in the apparent attempt to point the faces of the tormentors she could recognize, making statements such as, "You're Ricky" and "You're Gertie," before Gertrude tersely shouted, "Shut up, you know who I am." Minutes later, Likens unsuccessfully attempted to bite into a rotten pear she had been given to eat, stating she could feel the looseness in her teeth. Upon hearing this, Jenny replied, "Don't you remember, Sylvia? Your front tooth was knocked out when you were 7. Jenny then left Sylvia in the basement to perform gardening chores for the neighbors in the hope of earning spending money. In an attempt to wash Lincoln's laughing John Baniszewski Jr. sprayed her with a garden hose, brought her to the house that afternoon by Randy Lepper. With a garden hose brought to the house that afternoon by Randy Lepper. Likens then desperately attempted to exit the basement, but collapsed before she could reach the stairs. And in response to this effort, Gertrude stomped upon Lincoln's head before standing her.
Oh, fuck.
And staring her. Standing.
At this point,
I'm
not even surprised what they did.
Right. And shortly after 5:30 p.m., Richard Hobbs returned to the Baniszewski residence and immediately proceeded to the basement. He slipped on the wet basement stairs and fell heavily onto the floor of the basement to be confronted with the sight of Stephanie crying and cuddling Likens' emaciated and lacerated body after she had been ordered by the mother to clean Sylvia. Stephanie and Richard then decided to give Likens a warm, soapy bath and dress her in new clothes. They then laid her upon a mattress in one of the bedrooms, and as Sylvia muttered her final wish that her daddy was here and that Stephanie would take her home, Stephanie then turned to her younger sister, Shirley, exclaiming, "Oh, she'll be all right." When Stephanie realized that Lincoln was not breathing, she attempted to apply mouth-to-mouth resuscitation, as Gertrude repeatedly shouted to the children in the house that Lincoln was faking her death. Lincoln was 16-year-old when she finally succumbed to her injuries. So then Gertrude Baniszewski initially beat Lincoln's corpse with a book, shouting "Faker, faker," in order to rouse her. However, she soon panicked and instructed Richard Hobbs to call the police from a nearby payphone. When police arrived at her address at approximately 6:30, Gertrude led the officers to Lincoln's emaciated, intensively bludgeoned, and mutilated body lying upon a soiled mattress in the bedroom. Before handing them the letter she had forced Lincoln to write, previously by her dictation, she also claimed she had been doctoring the child for an hour or more prior to her death, having applied rubbing alcohol to her wounds in a futile attempt at first aid before she had died. And
bullshit.
Added that Lincoln had earlier run away from her home with several teenage boys before returning to her house earlier that afternoon, bare-breasted and clutching the note. Clutching a Bible, Paula, having stated to all present in the household that Lincoln's death was meant to happen, then glanced in Jenny's direction and calmly stated, "If you want to live with us, Jenny, we will treat you like our own sister." As previously instructed by Gertrude, Jenny Lincoln recited the rehearsed version of events leading to Lincoln's death to the police before whispering to the officers, "You get me out of here and I'll tell you everything." Okay, Jenny.
Jenny. What did they do to your sister, Jenny?
Why couldn't you have said something earlier, Jenny? Okay. The formal statement provided by
Jenny. Don't blame Jenny. She's having to deal with all this shit and having to get Don't blame her.
Jenny fed this fucking bitch a fucking pear, and she's like, "Damn, my teeth are kind of loose." And Jenny's all like, "Bitch, you lost your front tooth years ago." Like, okay,
I'm just saying. Jenny had to do what she had to do. She barely had a dog at the fight. She already was missing a leg. Okay.
She wasn't missing the leg. The leg was still there.
Right. She had
but she couldn't use it.
Why couldn't they have? Oh, okay. Why didn't they just? Okay. The formal statement provided by Jenny Likens prompted the officers to arrest Gertrude, Paula, Stephanie, and John on suspicion of Lincoln's murder within hours of the discovery of her body. The same day, Coy Hubbard and Richard Hobbs were also arrested and charged with the same offenses. The 3 eldest Baniszewski children, plus Coy Hubbard, were placed in the custody of a nearby juvenile detention center. The younger Baniszewski children and Richard Hobbs were detained at the Indian farm and were held without bail pending trial. Initially, Gertrude denied any involvement in the. Though by October 27th, she had confessed to have known the kids particularly her daughter, emotionally abused Likens, stating Paula did most of the damage and Coy Hubbard did a lot of the beating. Gertrude further admitted to have forced the girl to sleep in the basement on approximately 3 occasions when she had wet the bed. She became invasive when officers stated the likely reason Likens had been incontinent were her mental distress and injuries to her kidneys. Jesus Christ.
Injuries. You were doing so good.
Right. Lacking any remorse, Paula signed a statement admitting to have repeatedly beaten Likens about the backside with her mother police belt. Once her breaking her wrist on Likens' jaw and including pushing her down the stairs into the basement 2 or 3 times and inflicting a black eye. John Jr. admitted to have on one occasion and adding that most of the time I used my fist to abuse her. He admitted to having on several occasions and adding that his mother had repeatedly burned the child with cigarettes. Okay, I have a picture of Gertrude right here, and this bitch looks like a fucking crackhead. I'm gonna send it to you. They finally showed me a picture.
Send it to Cancer Chat.
Right. Bitch looks like
That's
a crackhead.
what we need to change our name. That's what we need to change our name to, is just Cancer Chat.
Right. And then that's her son in the background.
Oh God. Fucking
right.
She ain't got no eyebrows.
Great crackhead.
She ain't got no eyebrows. Her son's relatively normal.
Right.
But she ain't got no eyebrows though. God. Right. Oh, fucking Jack Skellington looking ass.
5 of other neighborhood children who had participated in the abuse, Michael Monroe, Randy Lepper, Darlene McGuire, Judy Duke, and Anna Cisco, had also been arrested by October 29th, and all were charged with causing injury to a person, and each was subsequently released into the custody of their parents under subpoena at the upcoming trial. The autopsy of Likens' body was revealed she had suffered in excess of 150 separate wounds across her entire body, in addition to being extremely, what was that word again? Emaciated at the time of her death. The wounds themselves varied in location, nature, severity, and the stage of healing. Her injuries included burns, several bruisings, and emaciation. The autopsy of Likens' body was revealed she had suffered in excess of 150 separate wounds across her entire body, in addition to being extremely, what was that word again? Emaciated at the time of her death. The wounds themselves varied in location, nature, severity, and the stage of healing. Her injuries included burns, several bruisings, and extensive muscle and nerve damage. Her vaginal cavity was almost swollen shut. Moreover, all of Likens' fingernails were broken backwards, and most of the external layers of her skin, breast, neck, and right knee had peeled or receded. In her death throes, Likens had evidently bitten through her lips, partially severing sections of them from her face. The official cause of Likens' death was listed by the coroner as subdural hematoma due to her receiving a severe blow to her right temple. Both the shock she had primarily suffered due to the severe and prolonged damage inflicted to her skin, and the subcutaneous tissue, subcutaneous tissue, plus the severe malnutrition were listed as contributory factors to her death. Rigor mortis had fully developed at the time of her discovery of her body, indicating Likens may have been deceased for up to 8 hours before she was found. Although Dr. Kebbell did note that Likens had been recently bathed, possibly after death, and that this act could have hastened the loss of body temperature and thus sped up onset of rigor mortis. The funeral service for Likens was conducted at the Russell and Hitch Funeral Home in Lebanon on the afternoon of October 29th. The service was officiated by Reverend Lewis Gibson with more than 100 mourners at attendance. Well, none of y'all gave a fuck about her before.
Right.
Yeah.
Lincoln's gray
Don't be
casket,
coming.
right? Don't be coming around now.
Yeah. Shit.
Her gray casket remained open throughout the ceremony, with portrait of her taken prior to July adorning her coffin.
God.
In his
right.
eulogy, the Reverend Gibson stated, "We all have our time of passing, but we won't suffer like our little sister suffered during the last days of her life." The Reverend Gibson then strode towards Lincoln's casket before adding, "She's gone to eternity." Following the service, Lincoln's casket was placed on pallbearers in a hearse and then driven to the Oak Hill Cemetery to be interred. This hearse was one of a 14-vehicle procession to drive to the cemetery for Lincoln's burial. Her headstone is inscribed with the words, "Our darling daughter." Was she really your darling daughter?
Right.
Hey, Reverend Gibson, fuck you, okay? Don't be fucking, fuck you.
Right. On December 30th, 1965, the Marion County Grand Jury reunited their first-degree murder indictments against and two of her three oldest children. Also indicted and Coy Hubbard. All were charged with having repeatedly struck, beaten, kicked, and otherwise inflicting a culmination of fatal injuries to Sylvia Likens with premeditated malice. 3 weeks prior to the filing of the indictments against the 5 defendants, Stephanie Baniszewski had been released from custody upon a writ of habeas corpus bond, with her attorney successfully contending the state that had insufficient evidence to support any murder or accumulation of fatal injuries charges against her. Stephanie waived her immunity from any potential impending prosecution while agreeing to testify against her family and any other individuals charged with abusing and murdering Likens. As a formal pretrial hearing held on March 16th, 1966, several psychiatrists testified before Judge Sowell Isaac Robb as to their conclusions regarding psychiatric evaluations they had conducted upon their individual indicted upon Lincoln's. The 3 individuals indicted upon Lincoln's murders. These experts testified that all 3 were mentally competent enough to stand trial. Fuck me.
All right. This has been Louise. Paperboy gotta go.
Bye.
Bye.